The story of my life, being washed, spun, turned around, and eventually massively upgraded by Jesus through Spirit Embassy and Prophet Angel. It's an interesting story. We can start at the genesis of the journey in 2008, Manchester, England. I arrived in Manchester after 4 straight years of traveling around the world with my backpack, guitar, and fresh back from sampling all the world's beers, drugs, and party lifestyles. I'd finished university 4 years earlier in 2004 with a business management degree, some basic guitar skills, and you could say a doctorate in drinking and drug taking, one that I was keen to continue. And I did it successfully on my travels as well. I went through Thailand, Nepal, Australia, and New Zealand. And I finished up by landing in Manchester, England, with the purpose of music, music, and more music.
Maybe I just wanna fly.
When I did get there, I did what I knew how to do to survive and what I'd learned on my travels, which was music. During my 4 years on the road, I learned to sing and perform, and most importantly, to busk. Busking is also known as street performing. So I automatically went into this full-time in Manchester and hopped from hostel to hostel, bunk bed to sofa to bunk bed to floor. So this is the place. One of the many hostels I used to stay. As you can see, it's closed down now. So this is one of the many backpacking hostels that I used to stay in. Backpacking hostels are like predominantly made up of dormitories. So you might have about 12, 15 people in one room, all on bunk beds. And I used to go busking in the daytime to earn enough money to sleep in one of these on the night. Sometimes I made enough money, sometimes I didn't. And for the times I didn't, I would have to be finding a couch or something, and my musical ability would sometimes help me in that venture of finding somewhere to sleep, or a couch or a floor or something. But this was one of the many hostels that I stayed in Manchester. Busking was a way of life for me. It was my determination to be a musician. That's what kept me doing it. I didn't see it as begging, but I saw it as paid practice. But my biggest downfall was the lifestyle that I was still living alongside the busking. Endless partying, drugs, alcohol. I stupidly thought that it was rock and roll to live that lifestyle, to wake up to a bottle of wine for breakfast, to drink vodka straight out the bottle. I quickly found out, though, that it wasn't. And as I downward spiraled mentally, physically, but most importantly, spiritually, I didn't believe that God was real. Not one bit. I'd grown up in a Catholic church up to the age of 11, but after finishing Catholic primary school, I ran far and hard away from any notion of a God. I believed that there was only humans, and God was just a made-up idea. I was about to find out that I was unequivocally wrong on that. So this is the spot here where I used to come busking every single day, and that was like me, another 3 guitar players, a double bass player, and we used to busk right there in front of that monument every single day. Sometimes we'd get 100 people who were gathered round in the afternoon on a sunny day just to listen to the music, and that's where we were every single day. So yeah, this is St Anne's Square in Manchester. This is where I used to be busking every single day. So I was a full-time street musician here. Every morning I'd arrive here, normally with a hangover from a night of drinking wine. Sometimes we'd wake up and drink a bottle of wine. This was really the location as well when one day it was raining and I made no money and I had nowhere to sleep at night. I had no food, I had nothing. And I was just at the bottom of the bottom, and I didn't know how I got there. Really didn't know how to get out of it. And I just thought, you know, what can I do? So I just packed up my guitar right there, walked to the cathedral. I'd hit rock bottom. And what was left of my strength of spirit, maybe because of my upbringing in the Catholic Church, somehow, at my most darkest moment, led me and pushed me towards Manchester Cathedral. And oh boy, I'm glad it did. So there it is, Manchester Cathedral. This is the place where I went and asked God for help. I asked God to just turn my life around. Little did I know that God was going to connect me to Prophet Uebert Angel's Spirit Embassy and upgrade my life forever. So this was the exact spot where I called out to God, and I remember coming in here, and this was the quietest place in the whole cathedral. So I came in here with my guitar. I sat in this exact seat. I put my guitar down on the floor, and I just sat. And I looked into the corner of the room like this, just silent. And in my spirit, I just asked for help. And that's exactly how it went. And then I left, not knowing if God was real or if my cry for help had been answered or anything. Now fast forward 10, 12 years, my cry for help was certainly answered. To be back here in this spot is quite surreal and important. I would say that it's important. If you think that I have a wife now, I've got 2 daughters, and that wouldn't be so if it wasn't for God answering me whilst I was sat in this seat. So this seat and this spot and this cathedral and this city will always be of importance in my life and in my family's life. So I thank God. I thank God for loving me and answering the call, and for sending me such a general as Prophet Uebert Angel, and such a family and ministry as Spirit Embassy that could be so loving and so amazing that a walk with Christ becomes exciting, and a walk with Christ and increase with Christ becomes tangible. And that's what Spirit Embassy is. So everyone should join Spirit Embassy, and they will see their lives get upgraded. But it's so amazing to be here.
This I know, just one touch from the King changes everything. Just
One thing led to another in Manchester after that experience in the church, and I was rock bottom. I was lost. I decided that I had to return home to my hometown to find myself, to find who I am, to get back in touch with who I am as a person. And even my family, I was worlds apart at that time, and I needed to get back to them. So it was time to go home to Middlesboro. My hometown, Middlesboro, formerly known as the Infant Hercules because of its economical prowess with the steel industry at the beginning of the 19th century. Now, a shadow of its former self. But it was home, and that's where I needed to be, and that's what was important. Little did I know, I was just moments away from my touch with the King Jesus that was about to change everything in my life and start my Spirit Embassy upgrade process. I quickly and indirectly became involved in live music events, and I became a live music events promoter. Who knew that that was the beginning of me becoming the international director of events for Spirit Embassy? But my lifestyle continued to spiral down. The drugs got worse. The party lifestyle got worse. And the absolute feeling of lostness was there every single day. A feeling of not knowing what was real, what life was for, what the purpose of everything was. And more than anything, it's an internal feeling. It's hard to explain in words like this, but it's a feeling that something's not quite right. Alongside this, in my own time, I was studying the history of American music so that I would develop as a musician. And this was something that God began to use. Now, this study of American music was the portal. It was the connection point for me and Jesus to finally reunite. I'd listened to Mahalia Jackson, who's known as the Queen of Gospel Music and one of the original gospel music artists of the world. When she'd sing, I'd cry. I could never understand why, but there was something different in her voice to what I was used to. Something of a different kind of hope, not entertainment, not protest, but hope. And I'd play it at 5 in the morning while coked up out my eyeballs, full of drugs and alcohol. And I'd just weep, in front of other people as well. Tears would be rolling down my cheeks. And I'd also show it to other people that I was taking drugs with and partying with. People such as my cousin Rene, whom I loved so much. And unfortunately, I went towards Jesus and he continued with the drugs. And he ended his own life some years later. One of the saddest moments of my life. So surely my condition was leading me in the same direction as that. But I had an encounter with the Lord Jesus that would change everything. And that's why I tell this story now, so other people can get connected to Jesus. I was so touched by the gospel music that I decided I wanted to put a gospel music band in my nightclub event in secret. So the plan was, it gets to midnight, everyone's drunk in the nightclub, and I just put the gospel music band on the stage, bam, go. And my thought pattern was that it would have the same effect on the people in the nightclub that it was having on me when I watched Mahalia Jackson. So this is Linthorpe Road in Middlesboro, where a lot of the nightlife goes on, and a lot of the nightlife that I used to be involved in was going on as well. The events that I was running, the parties I was going to. So I was drunk up and down this street many times. And if you just look across the road there, you'll see the Crown nightclub. That's where I used to run my music events. It's now a condemned building by the looks of it, but that was the time when gospel music had really started to touch me, and when I was crying at parties full of cocaine and ecstasy because Jesus was touching me through the music. So the Crown nightclub is one of the venues and nightclubs and bars and pubs that I used to run music events in, and also that I used to get absolutely wasted in. And there's many around the town of Middlesboro, just like this one, where literally I'd be coming out of them doors at 2 or 3 in the morning, not even knowing where I am or which direction I'm going, left, right, or what. One day, after another regular night of partying, drinking, taking drugs, I was awakened by what I now know as my spirit on a dirty couch in a dirty apartment and made to look in the mirror. I was led towards the mirror, and I looked in the mirror at my face, and I looked like death. I looked like a demon was living inside of me. I looked so bad that I said, no. This cannot be life. And I marched out of that flat to go and jump on a bus and get home. So we're getting to the church where I first heard gospel music coming out of it. So I got here and I walked this way. And this was a Saturday morning. The music was coming out of this church here, this building. And I went into there and there's a little lobby area. And I looked in and I saw people in there doing something. And I kind of sat there and I just thought, I'm too dirty. I'm too dirty to go into like a holy church and talk to holy people. So I sat there for about 10, 15 minutes, like trying to get my bravery together. That I'd go and speak to the people in there. When I finally got my bravery together, I went and talked to them and said, like, this is amazing music. Like, I've been looking for you guys. I want you to come and play my nightclub night. So the amazing thing is that the band that I heard that day, they never came to play my nightclub event, but I went to the Sunday service, which was held just there at that entrance. And everything changed from that moment on. I received Christ about 3 weeks later, joined the worship team 3 weeks later, and my life began to get upgraded. We started a local Spirit Embassy cell group fast in the area of Thorntree, Middlesboro. And Thorntree is a very infamous council estate. But we were there doing our cell group. So this is the exact street here in one of these houses where in 2013, Middlesboro Spirit Embassy cell group started. My life from this moment began to upgrade. Fast. Drugs stopped. Drinking stopped. Alcohol stopped. Partying stopped. I started feeling good after feeling so bad all of the time. The word of God was beginning to get into me. And the answer to my cry for help that time in Manchester was beginning to manifest the response. The spiritual winnings were now beginning to arrive.
Oh, you turned it around, around and around and around. Turn it around. You turned it around, around.
The man of God's word and teaching was getting into me so much. I was absorbing myself in all of the teachings and the YouTube videos. I banned every other preacher out of my life. I only wanted to listen to Prophet Uebert Angel's word. And what a great decision that was. Only his videos were entering my eyes, ears, and spirit. And my thinking began to shift. My mindset began to shift. I started thinking big. Business ideas were flowing. And I started imagining crusades around the world, miracles flowing. And my relationship with Jesus was going deeper and deeper and deeper. And even my relationship with my family went to brand new heights, which I never imagined was possible. I was understanding the gospel on levels that I never could imagine.
And I told you, if you see an angel having a mirror, you can't pass your hand through that angel. If you are walking and the angel is standing there while he's having a mirror, not a hazo, you what? You bump into an angel.
The cell group grew astronomically fast. People like myself, Director Jordan Banks, SEC, and other Spirit Embassy leaders of the future. We were all in that cell group, that small cell group in that small area in the small town in England. It was amazing. I knew from that early stage that Spirit Embassy and our man of God, Prophet Angel, was the real move of God that's happened on the earth in this age. I knew it. And I had then, and I still have, the strongest desire to get more people connected to Spirit Embassy. So this is the location where we've moved from a cell group and we became a branch, Spirit Embassy Middlesboro, which later would become Spirit Embassy Newcastle. And we were holding our services in there. That's the first place we were holding our services, Netherfields Community Centre. And the funny thing is that's the place where when I was a small boy, 7, 8, 9-year-old, I used to go to this community centre as a small kid. And then later, fast forward, 20 years later, we held Spirit Embassy services right there, and my life was beginning to upgrade bit by bit. So I thank God for this building. It's been a big part in my life being upgraded. The biggest thing that I noted about our man of God as I began to understand him as a person, as a man of God, was that he is an outstanding enigma that we know as Prophet Angel. He's so passionate about the gospel. It was something I could relate with my own passion for the gospel, that everything else is second nature to the gospel, bystander. I saw a man that Jesus was front and center at all times with. I saw a man that was driven by love and passion for God and God's people. I saw my spiritual father standing right there, the man that I'll follow all the way to rapture and beyond. Everything else since then has simply been an upgrade after an upgrade after an upgrade, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. I live happily right now with my beautiful wife and 2 daughters, and we live in a 4-bedroom, beautiful detached property in the middle of the English countryside. Never could have imagined it was going to happen, never. And this is just amazing, the upgrade that's took place. I couldn't have imagined it. My dream of being a professional musician has been fulfilled and is growing more and more each year. My life has not only been upgraded and continuing to be upgraded, but my wildest dreams have been fulfilled and are now overflowing to realms that I never imagined. I joined Spirit Embassy and I upgraded my life.